Live on my Spreaker. Thank you for joining me on the Michael Tobin Show. This is the section of my show with the title, get ready folks. I had a hard time getting this one done, and the thrill is already gone. The time that it takes to do the production and then the time to go live, it's like, oh man, where's all that? Where's the enthusiasm? But anyways, the title of the show is Sex Robot Relationships and 7 Women for 1 Man. Folks, about at least 25 years ago when I was in Bible school, I came apart in the book of Isaiah, chapter 4, where it says that in this day, this is Isaiah's prophecy about the end days, literally the end days. And throughout the book of Isaiah, the prophet continues to mention in this day or in that day. And when I read this verse in chapter 4 about the end times, when 7 women will take hold of 1 man and say, give me your name, so they can have a husband, I was thinking, what kind of days are these going to be? And I had all kinds of thoughts. Well, what kind of time is it going to be where 7 women for 1 man, they're going to be desperate to get married? And you could go ahead and come up with all your possible answers and your theories. But after this, I think this is it. And interestingly enough, my first sermon that I ever preached, it was at a homeless ministry, and it was on Isaiah chapter 1. When in the end days, a member of a man's household is going to say, you have clothing, you have food, go ahead and be a teacher. And that man will say, no, don't make me a teacher among you. Nobody's even going to want to be a teacher of the Lord. No one's going to want to be the teacher of the gospel, the scriptures. And I say gospel because Isaiah also prophesied the birth of Jesus and his death, exactly how it happened, and his birth, and exactly how his death happened. So the gospel, we are in the days of the gospel right now. And folks, if it's not enough with all these other things that are coming to pass, that are fulfillments of Bible prophecy, what does sex robot relationships has to do with it? Please just hold on. I've only got 15 minutes, so you know it's not going to be long. You've seen movies, in a half an hour a person could go from tragedy to a happy ending, right? So I want to start with one fulfillment of prophecy that is right at our door. Is from my friend Craig C. White, and this is very amazing. ISIS destruction in Mosul has unearthed Assyrian King Sennacherib's palace from the time that God destroyed ancient Nineveh with a flood in 612 BC. The palace ruins were found underneath the shrine to the biblical prophet Jonah. ISIS used high explosives to blow up the shrine to Jonah in 2014 when they took control of Mosul. Iraqi soldiers have entered the now buried palace by the way of ISIS tunnels. So this palace has been unearthed within the past few months, actually, and it has not been seen since a fulfilled prophecy that it will be flooded. It has not been seen since 612 BC. And there is a dam in Mosul, which is ancient Nineveh. And that dam is in disrepair, and it is ready to go. So folks, there are so many things that are happening that are absolute proof of the accuracy and authenticity of biblical scriptures. Nahum prophesied it. In the book of Nahum, prophesied that Nineveh will be flooded. on 2 occasions. We are getting ready to witness the second occasion of Nineveh being flooded right now, and that's where ISIS is headquartered at. So now another very bizarre fulfillment of Bible prophecy is, I don't even know where to begin. All I did was hit record, and I says, okay, once I hit record, there's no turning back. So I was scrolling through my social media where I see a whole lot of news articles and events, and I came across this one from Fox 5 New York. It's a local television station in New York, Fox 5 New York, and the title of the article is Relationship of the Future. Love doll robots are life-size and can hold conversations. And the article is about, guess where? My hometown of San Diego. I'm in San Diego County, California. And San Marcos, California is where these robots are created. And interestingly enough, I was at my underemployed job part-time, and I was talking to one of my coworkers, and we were talking about how crazy things are getting in this world and how robots are going to be, what kind of role that robots are going to be playing in people's households. And she told me that she lives near the guy who invents these things. And so a couple days later, I read this article, and I'm like, oh my God. And I cannot help but to think about that one scripture. I think I'll go ahead and read it for you right now. I always kind of jump to the end of my point and everything. I just can't stand to leave people hanging. So, in Isaiah chapter 4, as I arrow through this, it says in verse 1, "In that day 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, We will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by thy name, to take away our reproach." And men and women, you know that it is inherently inside a woman's DNA that she wants to get married and raise children and have a child. That's what women are created to be able to do. And there's the men, we just will never understand it. And of course, most real men want a wife and want a family. And so it talks about, in that day 7 women will take a hold of one man. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut to the chase right now. That what kind of role are robots going to be playing in households? Well, here we have one bizarre thing right here, and we know about how the past 20, 25 or so years that what is that word? Tolerance. We've been educated to be tolerant of people who are different from you. If you're different from me, you need to be tolerant of me, right? It's a two-way street. So it's going to become so bizarre. When is the time going to come when people are going to be able to marry a robot? Don't laugh. I mean, I'm almost speechless. But what is in that day mean? What day is in that day? My friend Craig C. White, he does a lot of study on end times. And Matthew chapter 4, where it talks about earthquakes in various places, what is the sign, they asked Jesus. This was before the church. What is the sign of your coming going to be? And through rightly dividing the word, my friend explains that the time that he's talking to is going to be the time that Isaiah actually was talking about also, when Jesus is going to come for his people, the Jews, after the 7-year tribulation. So if it is going to be that bad during the tribulation, how bad is it going to get before the tribulation? Well, folks, go ahead and look it up. Fox 5 New York. Just Google it, whatever. Look for that article. And so I am saying right now that you know the signs of the times. You know what is going on in society with relationships, with divorce, and reasons that men don't want a wife any longer, reasons why women don't want a husband any longer. It's just being compounded over and over and over again. And people are getting to the point to where they can live without a relationship, without even the desire for a relationship with members of the opposite sex. So here we see that robots. I don't even want to read the article, but all the way from New York, from coast to coast, these things, who has these things? Who owns them? How common is it going to be? When is it going to be accepted? This article just came out today. I could imagine that it'll probably be on late night TV as part of their monologue. So in that day, we're in that day, folks. We're in that day. So I want to read to you from 2 Corinthians chapter 6, starting at verse 1. And then, as workers together with him, beseech you also that you receive not the grace of God in vain. For he says, I have heard you in a time accepted, and in the day of salvation I have succored you. Behold, now is the accepted time. Behold, now is the day of salvation. So, I beseech you, brethren, sisters, please ask Jesus into your heart. In the Gospels, Jesus says, learn of me. All who come to me, I will in no wise cast out. So Jesus says, all who come to me, I will in no wise cast out. So I'm going to go ahead and just leave you on that note. Read chapters 1 through 4, especially in the book of Isaiah. So thank you very much for joining me on this short broadcast. And as always, stay tuned for the next episode. God bless you and have a wonderful day.